it really quick, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, okay. Okay, there we go. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm pretty excited to have a former student of or graduate of Diablo Valley College, Emma Hall, and she was editor-in-chief of The Inquirer, and also, I believe, this magazine as well, The Ink. And so she's joining us today to talk to us about CalMatters, and it's called College Journalism Network, CJN. So, Emma, thank you for joining us and for being here today. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, so I was all 2019 to spring 2019, so I missed the COVID cutoff. But so I did that for a little bit, and then I graduated from DVC last fall, and through there I did like an internship with the Pleasanton Weekly, and then I went to the Contra Costa Advocate at Contra Costa College, and then I've just done a million things. But I started with the CalMatters College Journalism Network about a year ago in the fall, and essentially what it is we're this cohort of student journalists from around the state, and we have folks from 4 years and from privates and then from community colleges, and we all cover higher education in different groups. So in the fall we had like three teams. We had our COVID pandemic team that looked at how COVID had impacted universities, and then we had our KQED team, which was a KQED partnership, and we had folks able to air stories for KQED there, and then we had our open campus team that looked at campus policing. Remote fellowship. It's a paid fellowship too, which is really good because
Cut out a little bit. The College Journalism Network. So, tell me a little history about how it got started.
and COVID pretty much hit, and it was like, okay, so now we are this network that's covering how this pandemic is impacting, higher education. So it was, yeah, it was pretty small at first, and then I was the second class, which were about 15 of us, and then now we're doing our third class, which I'm not too sure how many people we're going to open up to, but applications are open and they're due July 11th.
How does a student apply for this?
So there's a Google form that you can link to, and I can send it to you again to Charleen, which essentially you fill it out, and you there's no cover letter, which is really, really great. But you have clips. So if you've worked for the Inquirer, please put clips that you've done for the Inquirer. That's, we're really looking out for community college students and trying to get more community college students in the program. It's a pretty short, thorough program. There's a question, about how you sort of apply to diversity. So if are particularly a student of color or a student from an underrepresented background, please apply, because this is a program that predominantly is, students from underrepresented backgrounds. So
Okay, now what if a student doesn't have any journalism experience? Is this only open to students that are know how to write articles for newspapers and magazines?
um preferably yes.
Okay.
Um just because it's more of a professional experience. But even if you just have like minimal like experience with the Inquirer or with a couple of journalism classes, still like throw your hat into the ring, because your name will be in our queue, and we'll probably well, your name will be familiar, essentially, that we have heard of you, and it's also just good to network and just to meet people. Felicia Mello is our editor, and then one of our other editors is Gabe Schneider, who does The Objective, which is this newsletter, and then which is a pretty well-known newsletter. And then we have Charlotte West, who she works for Hecklinger, and then she's a freelancer and has done higher education reporting for like 10 years. But really apply even if you're not too sure you're going to get in, because you'll be able to make connections and meet people.
Okay, awesome. And so I think I heard you say something about 650 a month. Is that what this pays, this as an intern or as part of the cohort?
Yeah, part of the cohort, it's a monthly stipend. So
Okay, awesome. And I think you said something about that you guys have done some work with KQED and also Open Campus. Tell me about that, and what is Open Campus?
So Open Campus is this nonprofit journalism group that works with other individual newspapers, I believe. And essentially what we had done is we had our investigative team that looked at campus policing, like just across the state. So what they had done 2 stories. One of our fellows had launched this personal essay, and I'm just bringing it up for my memory too,
Okay.
which was really interesting. And we had my other peer, Omar Rashad, and then Catherine Schwartz did this whole story about diversity within the police force, and they were able to set up this whole event where they had the board president of the UC Board of Regents, and we brought in students, student activists, and we brought some folks over from Peralta Community College District to talk about policing, and that launched in collaboration with KQED. But it was really cool because you're able to sort of gain that professional experience, and you're able to like tackle really sort of big topics and get, a clip with CalMatters, possibly a byline with CalMatters. And because CalMatters is one of those organizations where your stories could go anywhere. So I did a story about community college enrollment, and it published with CalMatters, but then other news sites had picked it up. So not only did I get a byline with CalMatters, I got a byline with like Comstock and I believe the
Nice.
San Jose Inside, I know, which was really cool. So that's another really great bonus too, is that your name gets a little bit everywhere. And then we had our KQED team, which I was a part of actually in the spring, who they were able to make these audio stories, and KQED produced it, that essentially launched on KQED's The California Report. So it was really cool, like, I don't know, being able to produce my very first like audio story ever and it be on KQED. And it's something that community college students can 100% do. I know in community college, there's always this kind of like people underestimate you, and they don't think you're at the level of a 4-year because we're community college students. That's always that stigma, but you can 100% do it. And I was also not, another person on the KQED team was also from Pierce College, so it's not like I was the only community college student there. And then Omar Rashad, who is pretty much been like one of our strongest fellows, also started in community college too. So you
So
should
cool.
go.
Yeah, I'm a huge advocate of community college. I went there for 10 years and got 2 AA degrees. And it's huge. It's wonderful. And then I've also gone on to, Cal State East Bay and then also San Jose State University. But I mean, I think community colleges it's just it's a more affordable route to go, but it's also, you get hands-on great experience. And I don't know, I just love it. Um, how many articles are you required to write per month?
So because these are like really big enterprise or in big enterprise pieces, and sort of longer stories are not, there's not necessarily a minimum of
Okay.
what you have to write per month. So I've had a couple articles come out, but what is really good is doing collaborations with other students in the network too, just because these are bigger topics, and these are more like bulkier topics than like stuff you'd be writing for like the Inquirer. So they're very bigger like issues where you need to be going out and talking to folks, and you're working for a professional newsroom, so there's extra reporting that's required. But really, I think it's important to like really sort of work with your peers, and to delegate your time to. It's about maybe 10-20 hours a week, give or take. Probably 10 is the estimate. So
Okay. Okay, awesome. Well, that's great. So I know this is going out to my journalism students, and they're more mass comm students. So a lot of them are not working for or writing for the Inquirer or enrolled in any journalism courses, but this might inspire them possibly to sign up for some journalism classes at DVC. So why is journalism important to you
oh,
personally?
that's such an open question. So I am very I was asked this question a while ago, and I said that I'm way too angry at the world to be quiet, and journalism is kind of my way to point out things that are wrong in the world, and to essentially like try to like tackle them. Obviously, like I'm not going out into the streets about the protests I report, that's different. But I don't know, just coming from the background that I do, being a community college student, and being a Native American community college student, and being a community college student with like learning disabilities, and being all of these different groups that go through different obstacles, it's important for me to be a journalist, because not only do I have a unique perspective, but there's not a lot of people kind of like me out there in journalism. So, and it's important that, if you're from community college or you're from these underrepresented groups, to really try to, it's harder because there's not a lot of people like you there to go and represent you, but it's important to sort of make your mark, and to really, what we do is a service job, and what we're doing is, reporting for the people and being watchdog and holding people in power accountable. So
Yeah, and if readers are not liking you, then you're doing something right.
Exactly, pissing off the right people is a great phrase I learned when I was at the Inquirer. Yeah.
That's so good. Well, good. So, all right. So, what I'll do is I'll put a link to the application in this video when we put that out on YouTube. And anything you'd like to add about CalMatters and why it's important to join?
What's been a really great thing about the network specifically is that we're all predominantly like students of color, which is really nice. And we think harp on diversity and don't reflect that within their interns or within their fellows. And one thing that has really stood out for a lot of us is that this is a really safe space for like students of color in general, and it's really like a great way to go ahead and launch your career. And it opens up a lot of doors for you too. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to email me or to
Okay.
email our Cal Matters email, and I will be always there. Yeah, I can send those to you too, Charlene. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll put that in the links as well, your contact information. So, if they want to ask you some more questions that we didn't cover in this, they can do that. That's great. All right. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for your time today and for explaining what Cal Matters is. And hopefully, we can get some more cohorts, some more students to get involved, especially students of
Yeah.
color.
Every single day I check.
What's that?
Yeah, more community college. Oh,
Yeah.
I check the application like every day, and I'm always looking for more community college.
Okay.
So I'm
Awesome.
always happy to help.
Good. And I hope this helps as well. So, thank you again. And I'm just going to go ahead and stop the recording.